Hello. I've just had some friends around. We've been playing music, but we had a conversation and this discussion involved. One of them finished off by saying, "Look, you really need to record this because people need to hear it." And I wasn't so sure, but I'm going to, unscripted. I'm going to try and remember what I said to him. Basically, I was saying, I hope that somebody is talking to kids at the age of 8 and 9 and telling them that you're about to enter puberty. Some of you might be there already, might be on that journey already, and your body's going to change in ways that are profound, both physically and hormonally. And some of these changes you might have expected and you might welcome, but some of these changes might be really traumatic and unexpected and upsetting, and they might make you feel super lonely, and it might consume your entire being. Stay awake at night worrying about it. I know I went through this, and I think what children need to be told is this is a normal state of affairs for most young people at some point during puberty. Maybe you're a girl that suddenly shoots up to 6 foot, and then because girls tend to develop sooner than boys, she now towers above 90% of the boys, and perhaps 50% of the teachers in the school. She might tower above them all. So a girl that once walked with her shoulders back and her head held high now kind of stoops and looks at the ground. It can be a really troubling, upsetting time. And I cannot imagine if you threw into the mix an adult, perhaps an adult in a position of authority, say like a teacher, suggesting that maybe the reason I feel like my body's become my own adversary, my own personal nemesis that I cannot escape, is because I am in actual fact a woman trapped in a man's body. I've been born the wrong gender, I can't imagine the confusion ways to throw that into the mix. And I'm not, this isn't an anti-anything video. I'm just saying that I think children need to know that being that freaked out by your body is a normal state of affairs for most people at some point during puberty. What worries me is that, he's a teacher, so he must know what he's on about, right? So you start to pursue this idea, perhaps thinking that, oh, well, maybe, if I'm wrong about it, I can just, I can say, look, I was wrong, that's not the issue. But what might happen is that you maybe start getting plaudits. You maybe start to be congratulated and celebrated for your bravery, and which is wonderful, But you feel that other people are invested in this now, and it's not just you. A whole load of people are, and so that makes this juggernaut more difficult to turn around, And it worries me because at some point that you might do things that are irreversible. That's it. I know for me personally, I was just about the youngest person in my year at school. Had I been born 3 days later, I would have been just about the oldest person in the next year down. But couple that to the fact that I was actually naturally a very late developer, I was so fucking conscious of the fact that every other boy in my year at school had developed into they transitioned into becoming a man, and I still had this boy's body. I was desperate for puberty to start. So then when it did start, you'd think I'd be thrilled, but oh my god, I didn't realise. I expected there to be new hair growth, but I thought it would be exactly like this. I really did. And when it came out having gone through a completely different manufacturing process, I was horrified. I really didn't know what was happening. I genuinely wasn't expecting this. I really was disturbed and frightened by it. Also, there was another boy in our year that had I can't remember what, something that he needed to be prescribed a course of steroids for, and it changed his physical appearance no end, This guy was considered like he was one of the most fancy guys in our year, and all of a sudden he had this face like a chipmunk that was hoarding nuts in its cheeks. It was really so. I really thought that the changes I was going through might be a genetic thing, and I might, it's a scary time, and I bumped into him a couple of years after this, funny enough, and talked to him about it, and it was really quite enlightening. He said that his parents had tried to prepare him for what lay ahead in his journey, and they'd said, look, you're going to get bullied because kids can be little, bullies. And he said, but I think the change was so profound and so shocking that I wasn't even bullied. I remember going out and thinking, why won't you just bully me like normal? And it was so that it can be such a traumatic period in your life, and I hope kids are being told that this is a normal state of affairs and these things will come to pass. Obviously, if you feel that gender is, if you have an innate sense that is your issue, then obviously you've got to go for that. But I just hope that adults in these positions of authority are just a listening ear and not so much a guiding hand, because I think that something that was once perhaps a medical and psychological issue is now a medical, psychological and political issue with a huge ideology attached to it that's supported by mainstream media, and it shouldn't be a political issue, really. It should be a medical, personal, psychological issue. And I've seen it. I don't want to expound beyond that. This isn't an anti-anything video. I hope it's received with the same love, consideration, care and concern that it was delivered in. Anyway, my name's Ross. I'm not promoting anything. And I hope that people listen to this and accept it with I just explained all that. Anyway, love to you all. Don't click or subscribe on anything. I don't have anything to click or subscribe on.